you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome everybody, this is Bulldog here with a video that I know a lot of you have requested. I'm finally bringing it to you. I'm going to show you how I scout my opponents for Grand Arena. Give you some of the things that I look for. I'm going to give you an actual example of myself going through and scouting what type of defense I'm going to set, how I'm going to prepare for my opponent, because this is huge. You can turn the tide of a battle before it even begins. Some matches are over before they even get to the attack phase because of how defenses are set up. I approach my scouting a little different than most people. A lot of people focus on their opponent's defense and what they are most likely to face. I focus on the other side. My primary goal is to make my opponents as uncomfortable as possible on offense. So I'm going to look at what teams do they struggle with, whether that's getting high banners or complete losses. What tendencies do they have? So what counters do they like to use against certain teams? Are there overlaps in that counter where we can make it available so they can't have the counters they like for each team? Are there tendencies that I like that I want to lead them to? Are there some that they don't like that I want to lead them away from? So there are a bunch of different things that we can look at. To give a common example, so a lot of people, Traya is a common one that people will use. So like to use Traya against Bugs, like to use Traya against Mothma, like to use like Traya Thrawn against Padme or something like that. Those are some that people will rely on. If those are the counters that they specifically like to use, and I see that maybe they have trouble when they have to go to their second or third counter, I might set all of those teams on defense. Or maybe there's a specific one they have trouble with. Maybe it's Bugs that they have trouble with, and they always go to Traya there. But I'll set Mothma up front and Traya in the back, so that they used up their primary counter on Mothma and then struggle with Geos or something like that, just to kind of give an example to try and highlight what I'm talking about. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. And then I also look at what have they not seen. A lot of times when players are doing their battles, the toughest ones are just the ones that they're not familiar with. They don't know exactly what they can do, and a lot of times they'll try to go in much harder than they need to. So they might use a more valuable character that they could have saved for someplace else, and it leaves them more vulnerable down the line. Or maybe they don't go in strong enough and they flat out lose. So that's mainly what I'm looking at as offense, but then I do look at the defensive side as well. Being able to anticipate what your opponent is going to set on defense can be a huge advantage, but it can also be pretty risky. It's a double-edged sword, so you have to kind of be aware of that. You don't want to overcommit too much, and it can possibly end up hurting you if your opponent changes up their defense significantly. A lot of times, one question that I'll ask is, okay, even if I'm expecting this defense, what happens if my opponent places this instead? For example, let's say we both have two Galactic Legends, and I see that my opponent always likes to keep them both for defense or for offense. They always like to keep them both for offense, and so I'm not expecting to face the Galactic Legend on defense. I kind of ask myself, okay, what happens if they do place one of those on defense? Is that going to hurt me more, or is that going to hurt my opponent more? And okay, even if that does hurt me, maybe I don't have a one-shot team or one-shot counter to get them down immediately, but I think I could get them down in multiple attempts or something like that. If I'm setting a tough defense, say I'm setting two Galactic Legends on defense, and he's used to having both of his Galactic Legends on offense, maybe that's something that I don't think he'll be able to deal with if he only has one Galactic Legend to take on two on the other side. So yeah, even if that's something that hurts me, maybe I'm okay with that because I think it will hurt him more. So it's not always. A lot of people are too scared about, okay, what if they set this on defense? What if they set this? And they want to keep enough on offense to beat any single thing that your opponent could throw out there on defense. But sometimes you just have to realize that, okay, if my opponent does set this that I'm scared of, yeah, maybe that will hurt me, but it might hurt them more if they don't have enough to get through my defense. So anyways, that aside, let's go in and look at an example. Let's take a look at one of the opponents, and we'll kind of walk through some things, I guess. And I could show the characters here. He's got three Galactic Legends: Rey, Supreme Leader Kylo, and Jedi Master Luke. Sorry about that. This is a Division 1, 6.5 million GP, so they're going to have most of the characters. Now, if you're at a lower division, looking at your exact opponent's exact roster can be more impactful because you need to see exactly what they have. This at this point, I'm just kind of assuming they have almost everything. They don't have Nest, so I don't have to worry about having Nest fodder on defense. They don't have Treya Scion at high gear, so my initial thought was maybe we should set Geos and see what they'll do against that. But let's that was kind of the only things I took away from the character screen. Should have gone into that, but I've already got everything. I've got everything bored out here, so I'm gonna stay on these screens. So, anyways, this is his offense. We're on the offensive side right now, and the first thing I'm looking at is okay. He used gas against Darth Revan, and this is one of the first 3 battles, so you know he doesn't know what's in back yet. In Division 1, there are 3 battles in the bottom front territory, so we don't know if he's attacking front, top, or bottom first. But even if he goes directly for the bottom, we know at least the first 3 battles he faces, he doesn't know the entire defense yet. Maybe he suspects he does, but it's not actually out there for him to view. So anyways, he uses Darth Revan here. This is meaningful to me because I like to use Bastila, Jedi Master Luke, Watt on defense. I'll kind of mix up my Jedi Master Luke teams, but that's one that I set a lot. And one of the counters to that is just a straight gas 501st team. That's maybe the most efficient counter to that. And it works pretty reliably, and it's one I don't want my opponents to use against me. So here, if he's willing to use gas against Darth Revan up top, maybe that's something I place in the bottom front, and then Jedi Master Luke in the back so that he can't use gas in that counter. So just something I'm initially looking at. These things can obviously change the more data I get, but that's my first thought as I look at his offense. And I'm scrolling down looking for other common counters I want to get out of the way, or low banners or losses. Here's a 47 I guess it's a moderate banner count, but it is pretty low for a first time win. I'm okay. If I set this on defense, I would be okay with him only getting 47 banners against any squad because I feel like I can do better on my side. So this is a team I might look at setting on defense, especially if he likes to use Treya against Mothma there. Maybe this is one there that he might be willing to take that win, and I'm going to encourage him to do it. So we'll see what we've got there. Geos. So I mentioned he didn't have Scion, so what's he going to use against Geos? There are a lot of other counters, but here he's using Vader. Again, if I'm setting Geos on defense and they eat up Vader, I'm kind of okay with that. That's the high-powered character. Now in this case, he's potentially already unlocked the back, so he might know that he doesn't plan on using Vader anywhere. But still, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what else he does against Geos. Now here we have a loss. So Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, Hermit Yoda. He tried to go undersized, so maybe he was just underestimating it. Maybe it's not that he can't beat this squad. But still, something to keep an eye on. So we've got a loss against Night Sisters. He has a strong Imperial Trooper team. That's a Relic Imperial Trooper squad. Normally, when somebody has that, I don't set Night Sisters on defense. But I don't know. I might reconsider it. Just something I'm kind of looking at there. That Jedi Master Luke team got out 2 Galactic Legends. That makes me want to set them even more. Now it was turn meter loaded, so that could have had an impact there. But yeah, I'm liking setting that team against him at the moment. So I lost to it again. Nothing. That's the rest of the Night Sister team. Nothing else. He never got through Jedi Master Luke apparently. Nothing else I'm necessarily too concerned with there. So let's go up here to the defense. Okay, on to his defense. Let's see what he put. Nothing. Okay, so we've got Rey with tanks. I mean, that's a common Rey team. Nothing we can't handle. Darth Revan. He's got They tried gas against Darth Revan as well, and that did not go as well on this side. So I've got to have something for Darth Revan. I like that Grievous team because I can easily beat that with Bounty Hunters. That's an easy 53, 54 banner win. So I would encourage him to place that. I like that. Let's see. We don't really have that strong of a defense. So those are pretty common teams that I'd say I've all seen before. I'd be most worried So yeah, you got Darth Revan, but that's a pretty weak defense all around. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But right now, so pause for a second. Although I see a loss against Geos. I said I didn't think his Traya Scion would beat Geos, and here they don't. So I'm definitely wanting to set Geos at the moment. So kind of pause on where I'm thinking after the first one. He doesn't set a strong defense. We didn't really get the defense he went against was also pretty weak. But right now I'm thinking I'm going to set a pretty strong defense. He lost a couple battles against again, wasn't necessarily a strong defense by any means. Only one Galactic Legend. I can set a much stronger defense than that and still have plenty to clear that other side. So I still need more data, but right now I'm thinking I'm going heavy on defense. I'm setting Darth Revan and Geos probably up front, and some Galactic Legends in the back. And that's kind of my initial thought. So there's Geos. Let's see what else we have. See if there's any new information here. He's done well against Grievous so far. There he got a Night Sister team, but took Vader, but he's not facing much here. So this doesn't help me a whole lot. No Galactic Legends, no Galactic Legends, no Jedi Knight Luke, no Darth Revan, right? Was there a Darth Revan in there? Yeah, so that's a very weak defense. Not much I can gain from that other than the G. All right, so on here to his defense. And same defense, right? Or at least very similar defense. Very similar. I mean, we've got a CLS squad there. Shaak Ti, those are pretty solid squads. So Rey, Darth Revan, CLS, Shaak Ti, that's kind of the bulk of that defense. And there's nothing that scares me yet. There's nothing that scares me on the defense. So far, I'm still thinking I want to go very heavy on defense. Okay, so here's another. He warned against Jedi Master Luke, and he took Thrawn in this time. So I guess I would say if I'm thinking, how can I use this to my advantage right now? So at this point, I'm planning on setting 2 of my 3 Galactic Legends on defense. I've got the same 3 as he does. If I set that up front to eat Thrawn, would he have any problems with Rey? Would that give him? Would he have to? I don't know if he would or not, because he could then use his own Jedi Master Luke against Rey. But would he want to use, what type of counter would he use there? So I don't know. We might kind of go back and see what other Galactic Legend versus Galactic Legend counters he likes to use, and see if there's any way that we can take advantage of that. So far, we haven't seen a lot of Galactic Legends on defense. Is that the only one we're going to face? There's another loss against the Night Sister Squad. So 2 losses against Sister Squad. You know one's going on. I'm putting a Night Sister Squad on defense. There's nothing that I feel like I need Night Sisters for on offense. My only concern would be that since he has a high level Imperial Trooper team, that he would get high banners against it. But with 2 losses in the last bracket, I'm definitely putting Night Sisters on defense. We're not seeing a lot. So there's only 1 Galactic Legend again. Haven't seen anything too strong, really. So hard to make too much of a judgment there. So let's go to his defense here. Okay, we're going to see the same thing. Are we going to see the exact same thing? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. So again, right now, what has he not really seen a lot of? So he didn't see. Did we see gas at all? I don't think we saw gas. I don't think we saw Jedi Knight Luke lead. Although Jedi Knight Luke lead in with Jedi Master Luke, or Jedi Knight Luke in with Jedi Master Luke, gave him some problems. So right now I'm thinking I want to put a strong defense. I might want to put Darth Revan up front to try and eat gas. So maybe put Darth Revan up front, a couple Galactic Legends, maybe put Jedi Knight Luke in the back. Jedi Knight Luke lead since he hasn't really seen much of that. All right, let's go back one more bracket here and see if he did anything different. See if his defense changed just because a lot of people keep the same throughout the 3 rounds because you can't scout and see that in between unless you actually talk to the other participants there. But let's see what else we've got. Okay, so there's losing against that's a pretty common resistance squad that can be tough. So here we see a solo attempt. I don't read too much into this because that's probably not something that he's going to try again and fail. I don't worry too much. I don't worry about too much about that. That was more him underestimating a solo attempt. I could try and bait him into trying it again, but most likely he wouldn't. So I don't worry about that too much. And I don't see... there's Geos again. I see more Geos that he's struggled with. I wish people would be setting tougher defense so that I could see what he does against like multiple Galactic Legends. So far, I haven't seen that. He lost against an Empire squad, an Empire fleet. That's normally what I set on defense, so that just reinforces that I want to set that. All right, let's go to the defense here. Let's go to the defensive side. Okay, so here we go. Here's him. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, same squad. I thought that was a different raid team at first, but it's not. We've got everything. Everything's looking the same. It appears that he has a defensive tendency that he likes. We'll see some more here in a little bit, but nothing to change my mind about what I wanted to do there. Okay, round 2 from 2 brackets ago. And okay, so there's what he likes against Rey. So again, thinking if I set Jedi Master Luke up front, I might be able to draw out Kylo and make him do something different against Rey, but he still does have Jedi Master Luke, and I kind of was thinking about wanting to use Darth Revan up front as well. So I think I've got different options there that I can look at. Any of those I think would be okay. We'll see if we find anything that changes my mind. Okay, there's Darth Revan. Did he still have gas? Okay, he did still have gas and opted to use this counter instead. Now this was previously. Maybe that's why he switched to gas, because he lost with this. But this is an appropriate counter. This does have a pretty high win rate. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but if he tried that against me against Darth Revan up front, that's a good move. So even though he lost, it shows me that he does know those counters there. Here's a second loss to this squad. So that's pretty interesting there. That squad's definitely going on defense now. Night Sisters and this Resistance team, he's lost to twice in his last 5 matches. So I guess 6. We'll include the whole bracket. Twice in the last 6 means I do kind of want to put that on defense. We're seeing Traya against Mothma. Oh, he's done different things there. He did have gas and opted not to use him against Darth Revan. Let's check this defense one more time, see if there's anything. Actually, okay, we'll check it another time after this. But yeah, so far all about the same. He's clearly got a defense that he likes. But let's switch on to offense here, and we'll see what else we've got. Okay, so using that same counter against Rey, even a different Rey team. So this was the same. Is that the same team he lost? That's the same battle he lost before, but he won this one at high banners. Very quickly won it. So I don't know if he took a different strategy or what he did, but he did figure out how to beat this team. Now he'd been very efficient versus Grievous in the past, and now this time lost against it. So I don't know. Again, we don't want to look too much into every single loss. Losing against the Shaak Ti team. Losing against his own team that I tried, but again, it's a solo that he underestimated, so probably wouldn't underestimate it again. So I don't feel like I could just exploit that. So overall, I don't even have an Imperial Trooper team to use myself, so that data doesn't help me any. Yeah, I was hoping I'd see him face multiple Galactic Legends, but we haven't necessarily seen that yet. But anyway, so my overall thought is I want to set Jedi Knight Luke on defense, a Jedi Knight Luke lead on defense, because he hasn't seen that. I want to make him do something new. I'm going to go very heavy on defense because he's not used to that, at least not recently. And his defense is weak. So I feel like I can go heavy on defense and still get a very efficient clear. So I'm going to go 2 Galactic Legends. I'm going to put Jedi Knight Luke on defense. Maybe even probably Darth Revan up front. And I'll still be okay on defense because I can use Supreme Leader Kylo against Rey. I've got my Thrawn Vader counter for Darth Revan. I can do a Rebel. I could do COS Han Chewie against the COS 3PO C3PO, and that could beat that. I've still got plenty of options for him. And again, okay, so what happens if he puts a second Galactic Legend on defense? Well, that means I would struggle to clear a second Galactic Legend depending on what exactly he put. I might struggle to clear it. I could cheese Rey and get Rey down in multiple attempts if I had to. Don't really want to, but if it came to that and he set a tougher D than I expected, I could do that. How would he handle it? If he only had 1 Galactic Legend to get through 2 Galactic Legends, to get through Darth Revan, to get through Jedi Knight Luke, can he do that? And that's going to be something very different. Just because he hasn't done it, we haven't seen him do it, doesn't mean he can't. But so far, he's dropped some battles against some very weak or average defenses. And I feel like if I set a strong defense and he kept a weaker offense than he's used to, that's going to go in my favor. So I would be okay with that, even if he set an extra Galactic Legend. So that's the defense that I would set. At least initially. I'll continue to look back through some more 3 versus 3 battles and do some more in depth. But this has been long enough. I don't feel like I need to go on and on and on. So at this point, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's kind of how I go about my defense and what I want to say. I know I'm going to set Geos. I'll probably set Geos up front with Darth Revan to make him see if he struggled against Geos. So maybe he would go in even harder against them, and that would deplete his roster for when he gets to Jedi Knight Luke and the Galactic Legends in the back. So that's kind of my initial thought. Still also thinking about partnering Jedi Master Luke with Jedi Knight Luke because he struggled with that the one time. But we'll see. So there's certainly some different options there. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Hopefully this is something that maybe you guys found a little bit interesting. Again, everybody's going to scout a little bit differently based on your own play style. So just because I do things a certain way doesn't mean it's the best way for you to do it. You can't necessarily go through and just copy everything. I'm going to be every time we're looking at different data every time, and the way I interpret that data will differ, and it differs as new counters come out all the time. So if you're watching this a year from now, this might not even my exact strategies that I took might be completely irrelevant to what's going on. But I just wanted to show you guys how I go through some of my scouting. So hopefully you can kind of gain something from that. So anyways, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you all have a great night.